Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of a slasher exploitation film from 1977, and tonight's movie is The Last House on Dead End Street. It is also video nasty. It's also known as the Cuckoo Clock of Hell, and I know there's another title for it. I cannot remember for the life of me. But originally this film has an interesting history, because originally, when this film was titled The Cuckoo Clock of Hell, or From Hell, or whatever, originally this movie was 3 hours long. And because the director and cast gave fake names for the credits, beyond the fact that those names were on the credits, those people didn't exist. So people thought this film was an actual snuff film. Needless to say, once Last House on the Left was released, the director decided to cut it down, because not everybody wants to see a movie that's similar to Last House on the Left, at least by the title, I guess, and see a 3-hour-long splatter film. Sadly, the 3-hour-long cut is lost. It's either been lost or destroyed. Nobody knows where it is, and not a lot of people have actually seen it. So it was retitled The Last House on Dead End Street. And this movie's on the infamous Video Nasties list as well. So I'm really interested in seeing this film, honestly. It's gonna be really interesting, considering this film was originally 3 hours long. I wish the original cut was available, because I'd really like to see it. But this movie has to do with a guy who gets out of prison, and he's like got a chip on his shoulder, and in order to punish society, he starts to make snuff films, and that's where the controversy of this film kind of comes into play. I honestly don't hear about this one that much when I do research on, like, you know, films that are supposed snuff films, or films that have gained infamy for being because people thought they were snuff films. This is one I've never heard about until I did some research and found the infamous Video Nasties list and found this film. So yeah, let's watch it, shall we? So the film starts with credits that look like they were made in Windows Movie Maker. The funny thing is, this movie came out in 1977. Windows didn't even exist back then. So we're already off to a rousing start with a little bit of gore and blood, and a voiceover from basically telling us how the main character ended up in prison. Our main character is Terry, and he finds this old abandoned building, and he kind of breaks into it, looks around, you know, he's like, this is a perfect place to film. So he talks to this one chick about, hey, let's make movies in this abandoned building. And he talks to his friend who is into filmmaking, and he gets all these people together, and basically shit hits the fan. They start making snuff films, and Terry complains early in the film about how nobody wants porn anymore. They want something different. They want something exciting and new and shocking. Also, there's a scene where one character slaughters a cow. So yeah, that's in this movie. I have a few problems with this movie. One, the sound mix is off a little bit. Now, for a few of these, I can kind of forgive this movie a little bit, because this movie was originally filmed in like the early 70s, so I can kind of give it a break, considering there hasn't been a DVD release of this film in America since ever. There's never been an American DVD release of this movie. I don't even think there's even been a VHS release of this movie in America. So yeah, so I can kind of forgive it. I mean, you know, this is probably the version I probably watched probably came from some old VHS or something like that. I mean, for all I know, that's where it came from. The picture quality isn't great, but again, it's an older film made on a low budget. I kind of have to forgive it. At least it isn't as bad looking as Blood Beach was, and Blood Beach probably had a bigger budget than this one. Since this film was made on a low budget and made in the early 70s, it's got that problem with a lot of older low-budget horror films, where scenes where it's nighttime or dark, it's a little too dark, and you can't really tell what's going on, and that happens quite a few times. But then they actually learn how to light, like the actual crew within the film learn how to light, and then the rest of the scenes in like rooms that are usually dark or that were dark in previous scenes are now like just really well lit. Honestly though, I think the not so good lighting in the kind of bad-ish picture quality, I think that really adds to the film, honestly. It gives the film a little bit of style. I mean, it really gives it that grindhouse exploitation film feel, and that's obviously what they're going for. So the acting in this movie ranges from kind of okay to laughably bad. The writing isn't that great either. Again, this is a low-budget exploitation film from the early 70s. Well, technically from the late 70s, but it was filmed in like the mid to early 70s. So yeah, you can't really expect great things from a low-budget exploitation film from the 70s. So, yeah, the characters are flat. The main character, he's kind of cool. He's a pretty sadistic bastard, but he's kind of cool, I guess. The gore and the special effects in this movie are really where this film shines. The blood and gore effects in this movie are really, really above average for the time. And, honestly, it definitely shows that, that instead of doing what Herschel Gordon Lewis did and just make a bunch of really crappy gore scenes, they made a couple really, pretty good gore scenes, instead of making a bunch of really bad ones, like Herschel Gordon Lewis did in the 70s, and in the 70s and 60s. So yeah, there's that. The pacing in this movie is, it's not too good. It's not award-worthy, but the film does get a little boring at times, and perhaps it's just me. The gore scenes aren't too often in the film, but I still really like this movie, and there's just something about it. It's one of those movies. On the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like Nosferatu, and 10 being something like Brain Dead. The Last House on Dead End Street is probably about a 5, maybe a 5.5. It's pretty gruesome and pretty realistic at times. I can definitely see why this movie was banned in the UK, and I can definitely see why it's yet to have a DVD release, but I don't know. If we can get Cannibal Holocaust to get a DVD release, I'm pretty sure we can get this film to get a DVD release. I'm pretty sure there might be a petition online somewhere for it. So yeah. This is one of those films that I liked it, but I can't really explain why. Like, there's a reason hidden deep inside me, but I can't get it. I can't pull it out. So yeah, pull it. I'm sorry. I just can't come up with why I like this movie. I just do. It's a really mean-spirited, nasty little piece of exploitation cinema, and it's not for those who expect, Citizen Kane out of a low-budget exploitation film. Alright? You shouldn't complain about bad acting, writing, lighting, or anything like that when we're talking about a low-budget film from the 70s. But that's just me standing up on a soapbox. I give it a 4 out of 5. I definitely suggest giving it a watch if you can. I know it's hard. It's kind of hard to find. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube still. Because that's where I watched it. Well, I watched it on YouTube, so obviously it's still there as I'm recording this review. So there's that. Yeah. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, like my channel, be sure to like this video, favorite it, whatever you want, and maybe subscribe perhaps. I would really, really appreciate that. And check the links in the description below. There are links to things like my Tumblr, Twitter, all that, Facebook, all that is in the description below, as well as Rotten Cotton t-shirts, where I get my horror film t-shirts like this I Drink Your Blood t-shirt I'm wearing right now. This is available on their site for like 15 bucks. It's a pretty good deal if you buy like 6 or 7 shirts, and you get it. And if they're like under 20 bucks, you can buy them all together as a package, and you get it for like 70 bucks. And it's a really good deal. It's where I get my horror film t-shirts. And be sure to check out my friend Chloe, her cosplay and makeup tutorial channel. It is in the description. She always does something really interesting, really cool. And I guess that's it. I'm signing off. You guys have a good day, good night, good whatever. Peace.